Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Guys, take a moment out, support the channel. All I ask is click that like button, and hopefully, again, I could point you in the right direction. So thank you very much for tuning in, and let's talk about it. So, war continues to escalate. When the war headlines broke out that weekend, I got a lot of messages and said, well, the war is over and after one day, which made no sense. But yeah, funny thing is people were talking about that the war was going to be over in one day, which again, here we are. A lot of casualties, a lot of just bad things going on in the Middle East, multiple players, fluid situation. You have oil rising to $90 a barrel. Again, for all you guys who have, well, gas guzzlers, you kind of know what you're paying at the pump. For all you guys who are EV owners, again, like I have a EV as well, you're getting what, about 40, 50 bucks a month for off your electricity bills. It's a very, very cost-effective way to own a vehicle. Again, EVs, pretty good if you're looking to save some money. But you got the Dow down 3% for the week, went red for the year. You got the SPY down 2% for the week, went red for the year, and you have the QQQs down 1% for the week, 1.25% for the week, but down nearly 4% since we started talking about the weakness and the big disconnection on the mega cap technology space going back to December. So you have a 4% decline since the week of Christmas. And the question is, well, what happens here, right? Obviously, again, the war headlines eventually are going to be kind of tone deaf in time. It always happens that way. It was very, very aggressive price volatility during the Ukraine-Russia start of their war, and eventually just everybody just kind of forgot about it from a market sensitive point of view. Eventually that is going to happen, but the problem is we are involved. And now the question is, what happens next? So we've been stuck in this channel here, right? We've been literally stuck in this channel here since February the 3rd, right? February 3rd, we are now what? March the 8th. So we've been here for like a month and change in this range. We had the capabilities of getting back above the 50-day moving average, and right when it looked like it was going to get really, really good very, very quickly, despite having phenomenal earnings, NVIDIA, well, basically kind of in an indirect way, was the cause of the sell-off, right? The sell the news, sell into earnings type of sell-off. And then to Bull's credit, they've been trying to kind of hold this range, right? And you see here, the last 5 days, last 5 out of 6 days, every single dip has been bought, right? Every single dip has been bought. And you can see all these green candles. This is a higher close in the open. The problem is they couldn't price improve the next day. And what happened Friday kind of broke that cycle. So instead of gapping lower and closing higher, we gapped up lower, attempted to rally once again, but closed with a red bar. And that's a very, very significant thing because, again, we took out the 603 channel and now we are first close below the 64 EMA, which should test now back the 150-day moving average. The one thing the bulls do not want, I mean, right now that we're below 603, the one thing that we don't want is a close below 597, because if we can violate 597, that will eliminate the 150-day moving average. Even you can see this green candle here, it never closed below the 150, but if we close below 597 on the 150-day moving average, then comes 591, 588, so forth and so on. So again, the bulls did a really, really nice job for the last 5 days or so buying the dip. Friday just couldn't do it. And the question is now, do we close below the 150-day moving average? Again, guys, I understand the majority of people are investors and you're just buying the dips on everything. But folks, again, technical levels are going to dictate what happens in the short term, right? The fact that we've been stuck in this channel here for about 5 weeks, going on week 6, is not a good thing. The first close now below the 64-day moving average, not a good thing. And that 150-day moving average is going to be the difference between a short-term reversal or something maybe playing out longer. And if you look at, for example, the weekly view, right? If the weekly view, this is my point why this whole 597 is important. You see how we've been just kind of straddling and holding on to this weekly support, right? That's the point, man. If we lose this weekly support and any close below 597, especially confirming 591 on the Qs, then we have a bigger picture, right? We have a bigger potential downside move. You have room all the way down to 577 and 568 on the QQQs. So this week, I mean, I hate to say it. If you're, only a perma bull and you're only trading on the long side of the market, if we close any close below 597 and then confirming 591, which are the February lows, I mean, there's a lot of room down, guys. So be very, very wary. You don't want to start building a position when we have technical damage, especially on the weekly view. So please, again, you might roll your eyes and say the market will be fine. That's great. That's your prerogative. It's your dime, your dance floor, you're all adults. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm only doing this for 27 years. So I kind of seen this movie a couple of times. So just watch that 597 on the close and definitely watch that 591 confirmation on the QQQs. Correlating that, right? Correlating that, now we have to start looking for stocks that are potentially losing a bigger distribution cycle, right? That's our goal. Obviously, I have no interest of buying anything with all these developments potentially on the table. Again, now keep this in mind. We're just prepared for this. Is it possible we rally crazy this week? Sure, absolutely. But those are the levels that we're prepared for in case they do violate those levels. That's when it's going to start triggering the downside channel. So keep a mindset of that. I'm not anticipating this. I'm not guessing. I'm not trying to foresight. These are my data points, and I will trade the downside aggressively if these data points get violated. So let's talk about it, right? Let me give you guys some ideas going into this week. Again, this broadcast today doesn't need to be drawn out. This is the validation points, the price discovery areas. And now the question is if they confirm. So let me give you some channels. Obviously, a lot of stocks look terrible, but these are the stocks that I'm watching for this week. You got Google, right? We've been talking about Google now for a bit. Look how long this distribution is. Going back to February 17, I will be watching this channel here. It stopped at the lower Bollinger Band. This thing loses the lower Bollinger Band. Again, if everything plays out like technically we potentially could happen, there's a lot of room, as you can see here, on Google to the downside. ARM had a nice run off the bottom. First close below the 50-day moving average. Again, for all you guys who have been training me for a long time and just watching the broadcast for a long time, you know what happens if the stock loses the 50-day moving average. So I want to keep an eye on that as well. NVIDIA, right? Doesn't make a difference, right? Doesn't make a difference what their earnings are. The people have spoken. Price action has spoken. There is going to be no stock that's going to be spared if those levels on the QQQs get violated. Guys, let's keep an eye on the earnings low on NVIDIA. If this thing loses earnings low, then it goes all the way back down to the February 5th lows. So we're definitely watching NVIDIA. Tesla, right? Tesla, look, all this time, this has been one of the very few names that have been below the 50-day moving average this whole time, right? Over the last several months, guys, we're getting very, very close, really, really close of losing the 200-day SMA. This 200 SMA loses, boy. Guys, again, look, again, always revert to the weekly chart, right? You see how just holding on to the weekly support, just like the Qs, there's a good amount of room, right? Good amount of room. Remember, earlier last week, they were coming for the March and April 360 puts pretty aggressively. So if all these levels violate, again, just be prepared. Look at Meta, right? Meta had an opportunity this week to reclaim the 50-day moving average and just go crazy. Couldn't do it, right? That's the problem. These stocks, when they get back to their levels of aggression, their price discovery levels, these very, very important levels, they lose faith there. Buyers get tired there and sellers take recontrol. I'm going to watch the bottom range here, right? This February lows. Again, it's not imminent, But look at the February lows. It's just sitting here on this linear regression line, crossing with this lower Bollinger Band. It loses this upper Bollinger Band. Again, you can see a move all the way back to the January lows. So keep an eye on that. Again, there's a million charts, folks. We don't have to go through every single chart. There's a million charts. Look at AMD, right? Look at AMD as well. AMD looks like Tesla. It's very, very close to losing its 200-day support. Again, if you revert back to the monthly view, you can see how important this level is. If you go to the weekly view, they all kind of correlate, right? They all kind of correlate. If all these levels lose, there is going to be, right? There's going to be a lot more downside. So folks, again, if you are a trader, we're getting a lot of really good opportunities potentially this week. Obviously, right now it's around 11:30 in the morning Eastern time on Sunday. Happy daylight savings time. Obviously, any news that comes out after I record this video, kind of removes everything I possibly said. But face value, again, folks, we don't guess, we don't anticipate. We collect data and wait for that data to confirm. So if nothing changes going into Monday, again, watch 597 on the Qs. That will take out a recent channel. And if any close below the 150-day moving average, then we got 591, which will be the last line in the sand before things can get pretty sticky. Guys, God bless everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's almost 70 degrees coming up this week on the Northeast. Snow is melting. My mood is getting better. We're that much getting closer to summer. With God's help, let's have a phenomenal, phenomenal Sunday. And I'll see you guys all in the field tomorrow. Have a great, great day, everyone.